y'all, today I'm going to be making a favorite. Today I'm going to be making meatloaf, which is the family favorite, my husband's favorite meal that I make. So the way that I make it, I use the McCormick seasoning packet for meatloaf. So go ahead and get you one of those. You're going to need that for this meatloaf. I've been making this meatloaf for I don't know, for a long time, for 10 years or so, and I've been making it with this packet, and this is how I make it. I used to make it from scratch, not using the packet, but I find that my husband absolutely loves it when I make it this way, so I usually just buy this packet, and I will put the description and everything down below, like the recipe and everything included. But if you just pick up this packet from any grocery store, you get all of the recipe on the back there for you. So I can put that a little bit closer to the camera so you can see what it looks like. And this is what the front of the package looks like. They do make other brands and stuff, so you can pick one up, a different brand, but I go with this because this has always worked. So what I'm gonna do now is I have a big bowl here, so I got myself a big glass bowl. You're either going to need to get like a good sturdy glass bowl to get your hands in, because you're going to be using your hands to mix in here, or to be able to use a hand mixer is how I like to do it, because I like to really incorporate all my seasoning to my meat. So to start, you're going to need some ground beef. Y'all know that I get my clearance meat and I stock up, so I have my clearance meat. I have a pound for $2.66 here. So go ahead and open up your package of meat. You're gonna need 2 pounds. So this is 1 pound here. Go ahead and break it up if you'd like and put it in there. I like to use my hands. Don't be shy, get on in there. It makes the food a whole lot better if you get real intimate with it and get your hands and all that in there. Don't be scared of it. If you don't like to touch it straight on, they do make gloves and things that you can wear, just plastic disposable gloves that you can pick up near the Ziploc bags and stuff like that. My 2nd pound of meat is going to come from our cow called Butterball. We actually had a cow and had him butchered. This is a pound of meat from Butterball. So I'm going to break that in there and just mix it together, because I am using 2 different kinds of meat and they are both ground meat. Sometimes people like to use ground pork or chicken and stuff like that. Well, I don't know about chicken, but I've heard of ground pork. I don't do that. I just use ground beef. So mix your ground beef together there. I'm gonna move this maybe off a way so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And this is the bowl here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my seasoning in. So I'm gonna just tear the bag open. Go ahead and sprinkle it all in there. It's just literally powder. So put that in there. The other thing that it calls for on the back of the little envelope is a 1/2 cup of milk. So go ahead and put your 1/2 cup of milk in. And I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of mix a little bit. You can add all of your ingredients and then mix. I'm just gonna do a little bit here and just make sure that everything's getting coated with the seasoning and all of that. So the other thing that it calls for on the back of the envelope is 2 eggs. So I have 2 farm fresh eggs that I just got from my chickens out back. So go ahead and crack yourselves 2 whole eggs in there. I'm gonna save me the eggshells. Believe it or not, chickens will eat eggshells, so you break them kind of up like that and just give them back to them. So the next thing you're going to need is breadcrumbs. Now they sell this kind of breadcrumbs, which is just the plain. They also sell the Italian breadcrumbs. So pick yourself up which one you like. The only difference is the Italian has like Italian seasonings in them, like oregano and parsley or something like that. So I'm going to use the plain, and it calls for 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Go ahead and sprinkle your breadcrumbs in there. And you're going to go ahead and use your hand here and mix it all together. Now, if you don't want to use your hand, you can use a spoon. I've done that before. You can use, and what I used to do, and my husband prefers, is for me to use a hand mixer. Now I'm too lazy to go looking for all the attachments and all of that for the hand mixer. I hardly ever use it, so I'm gonna use my hands. So I'm just looking on the back of the package, just making sure I didn't miss any ingredients. The only other ingredient that you're gonna need is ketchup, but you won't need it now. You'll need it later when you get ready to kind of finish it off. That goes on top. So ketchup is the only thing that's missing. Go ahead and get your hands on in there and just go, you know, this mixture like this. Mix it all in, incorporate it all, get your egg in there. Make sure that your breadcrumbs aren't clumping up or doing something strange. When I used to make it completely from scratch, I would put ketchup into my meat mixture, and I would put onions into my meat mixture, and you can still do that with this packet. I may still do that because my husband actually really likes it when I put onions and the ketchup into it, so I may do that here. But since I don't have them at hand and my hands are dirty, I'm just going to do this much here. If I add it in, I'll show y'all when I come back. So that's about it. You're just going to mix it like that, incorporate it all, and what I'm going to do is I think I may chop up an onion here and add it. I'm going to mold it into what they call the loaf, you know, like a loaf size, and show it to you before I put it in the oven. But this is everything that you have to do to create, you know, to put it together.
Okay, here it is. I have created the loaf shape with my meat mixture, and I've went ahead and added in the onions. I didn't add in any ketchup, but I did go ahead and add in the onions. I've also made meatballs using the same ingredients, the same recipe. I just kind of pulled apart enough to make these 9 egg rolls, and that's because my daughter actually doesn't really like meatloaf. So what I do is I make them into meatballs, and you can do that too for your kids. One fun way to do it is to put this sweet sauce on it, so they become like Asian meatballs. They're really good. All right, the meatloaf has come out of the oven, so now I'm going to put the tomato ketchup on there. I don't know why I said tomato, I was just reading it. But go ahead and just put it on there. So the meatloaf was in the oven for about an hour exactly. And so I'm going to put this on here, which is your ketchup topping. And then I'm going to put it back in the oven for about 15 minutes. I'm going to go feed my kitten because he just woke up as I was getting this out of the oven. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes.
All right, y'all, here is my dinner plate. I have my meatloaf, rice, and some yummy green beans. So I hope y'all enjoyed this recipe. Bon appetit.